Every night, the same voice shows up the moment your head hits the pillow. You try to ignore it, you try to fight it. But what if that voice isn't trying to keep you awake? What if it's trying to protect you? Well, I'm going to explain why these things happen. The human brain has a peculiar relationship with darkness. While every other system in your body is preparing to power down, your mind interprets the silence of night as an invitation to solve problems you didn't even know existed 3 hours ago. This isn't random. There's a psychological mechanism called pre-sleep cognitive arousal, and it's essentially your brain's last-ditch effort to process the emotional residue of your day. Think of it as mental digestion, except instead of breaking down food, you're breaking down every awkward conversation, every missed opportunity, and every future scenario that probably won't happen. But here's where it gets fascinating. The people who struggle most with sleep aren't necessarily the most anxious people during the day. They're often the ones who are too good at pushing things aside. Your daytime mind is a master at compartmentalizing, at saying, "I'll deal with this later." And later is when you're lying in bed with nowhere left to run. The darkness doesn't create the thoughts, it just removes your distractions. There's a cruel irony embedded in the architecture of insomnia. The harder you try to fall asleep, the more awake you become. Sleep researchers call this sleep effort, and it's the psychological equivalent of trying to relax by commanding yourself to relax. Your conscious mind treats sleep like a task to be accomplished, but sleep isn't a task, it's a surrender. It's letting go of the illusion that you're in control, which for many people is terrifying. When you can't sleep, you're often not afraid of being tired tomorrow, you're afraid of the vulnerability that comes with closing your eyes. Sleep requires trust. Trust that the world will keep spinning without your supervision. Trust that tomorrow will come whether you're ready or not. Trust that you can stop being the protagonist of your own story for a few hours. People who struggle with sleep often struggle with trust, not necessarily trust in others, but trust in the fundamental reliability of existence. They're the ones mentally triple-checking that they set the alarm, reviewing tomorrow's schedule, rehearsing conversations that haven't happened yet. The sleepless mind is a mind that believes it must stay vigilant because rest feels dangerous. Here's something most people don't realize. Chronic sleep difficulty often develops from a single traumatic night of poor sleep. Maybe it was before an important exam, a big presentation, or during a period of grief. That one night creates an association. Bed equals struggle. And from then on, your brain approaches bedtime like a battlefield it once lost on. Psychologists call this conditioned arousal. Your bedroom, which should be your sanctuary, becomes a trigger. The sight of your pillow activates the same neural pathways as preparing for conflict. You're not just trying to sleep anymore, you're trying to overcome the ghost of every sleepless night that came before. But there's another layer here, something deeper. Many people who can't sleep are unconsciously resisting the passage of time. Sleep is the ultimate submission to time's forward march. It's an admission that today is over, that you didn't accomplish everything you hoped to, that another day has been spent and you're one day closer to whatever endings you fear. Staying awake becomes a way of holding on to today, of refusing to let it slip away unexamined. It's grief disguised as insomnia. The strange truth about people who can't sleep is that they're often the most thoughtful ones. They're the overthinkers, the empathizers, the people who carry the weight of things unsaid. Their sleeplessness isn't a malfunction, it's a sign that their internal world is rich and complex, sometimes overwhelmingly so. The path forward isn't about silencing the mind, it's about changing your relationship with it. It's understanding that thoughts during the night don't require the same urgency as thoughts during the day. It's learning that sleep isn't something you do, it's something you allow. And maybe, just maybe, it's about forgiving yourself for being human in a world that never seems to stop asking for more. Because the voice that keeps you awake, it's not your enemy, it's just a part of you that hasn't learned it's safe to rest. And that's something worth understanding, even if it takes a few more wakeful nights to figure out. Sweet dreams aren't found, they're built, one night of self-compassion at a time.